Welcome to EPI STEM podcast. This EPI STEM podcast is brought to you from the National Centre of STEM Education at the School of Education in the University of Limerick. I'm your host, Geraldine Simmie, and I'm the Professor of STEM Education here at the Centre and the Director of EPI STEM. And my co-host,
Michelle Starr, and I am the Research Liaison Officer in EPI STEM.
Welcome back, everybody. And our special guest today is Sam. Sam is here as our new research coordinator for our EPI STEMACADEMY of STEM teachers. We look forward to talking about that later on. But Michelle, I'm sure, and myself, we want to welcome you.
Welcome, Sam.
Want to welcome you. And Sam, would you tell us about yourself, and including your full name and a little bit about yourself personally first, and we can get into discussion about the academy then as we go.
Sure. So full name is Samuel Brzyskiewicz. Mr. B is what my students call me. So I have a education background. So they're struggling with that. Mr. B is perfect. And I suppose my background is science education. I came here from Poland and I did primary school through secondary school. I went into UL then to do a bachelor degree in physics and chemistry with concurrent education.
Oh, lovely. And what school did you go to when you came here?
I went to Mercy Montauk in Tralee.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely school.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, lovely part of the world.
Yeah,
as
nice
well
part
to
of
live
the
in.
world too.
Yeah.
You're still in Kerry.
Yeah.
So your undergrad was in that, but you're a PhD student now, aren't you? You're finishing up your PhD.
Yeah. So I always wanted to be an academic. Really, I love the environment and the whole culture of just doing research and connecting with people and traveling the world and so on and so forth and making a difference or hoping to make a difference. So I've decided while I was teaching to apply for a PhD. So I sent a couple of emails to professors that I wanted to connect with, and one stuck, and here we are now. So I'm doing a PhD in UL.
So you would have decided then, when you went into doing your science and physics education in a degree, that you decided even at that stage that you were going to continue. You weren't stopping there
From the beginning. Yeah.
Very big. Okay,
Brilliant.
That's amazing. So
that lovely thirst. Not everybody has the appetite for research, so you have it. Who are your supervisors?
So my first, I have two. So one of them is Oliver McGarr.
Professor Oliver
McGarr and Dr. Rachel Lenihan.
Yes, Rachel Lenihan, lovely. And your topic, the main topic you're studying?
So it's a work in progress title, but essentially the topic around it is digital leadership in schools. So we're looking at digital leaders and their roles and responsibilities in the area.
Very interesting, yeah.
Research hasn't been done, or not a lot of research has been done in the area since a decade maybe. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to see if their roles and responsibilities have evolved and whether new challenges or concerns have emerged because there's a rapid increase of edtech use in education. So we're seeing what the situation is in reality right now at this minute.
Lovely. So dip in and see what's happening. And sure, there's massive change at European level in Ireland. I suppose this is going to be a huge area into the future, isn't it? All that digital upskilling that'll be needed for all teachers across the board.
100%.
And it changes so fast as well. And I'm sure, you've got the science background, but you're going into digital leadership in education. So that's spanning across all of the school curriculum, really, in covering that area. And is it okay if we ask you about what are you finding anything, any surprises in your study?
Yeah, so part of the things that we're interested in trying to find is whether sustainability is a concern.
Okay.
Environmental sustainability in particular. And we found that it's not really a concern. It's not really considered a role or responsibility of digital leaders when they're making decisions around procurement or whether they should upgrade their technologies or, whether it's a policy concern on their part. So they know it's a concern, but it's really taking a back seat in favour of more pressing matters.
Exactly. Yes. I was going to say that it's probably a lot of pressing matters.
Yeah, a lot of it is still firefighting, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And of course, all the digital competences and everything, but equality and equity and the ecology and the environment, we've got to bring them to the forefront. And the question for us, I suppose, the challenge for us now at the University of Limerick and in EPI STEM and everything is how do we do that to reculture ourselves as well as the schools and to kind of work together to try and bring that to the forefront, the human in relation to their environment, to technology and to care for one another and all those things that are really in the middle of sustainability. Let's move on to your role, and we congratulate you and we're delighted to have you on the new role as the research coordinator of our EPI STEMACADEMY of STEM teachers. We're very, very delighted to have you, and you've just started on that role.
And you're bringing your digital skills along, which is great to the centre. It is wonderful. But just before we ask about the role, Geraldine, would you tell us the history of the academy?
Yes.
You know, how did the idea come about?
Yes.
You know, and it'll just then evolve into then when Sam joined us.
Yeah, I was saying, I think to you, Sam, was it last week that Professor Marilyn Goose, when she was here, she was the former director before me of the centre, and she had filled out an application to the Higher Education Authority for a research funding. And then when she left to go back to Australia, I took over running that and making sure it kind of came to a proper conclusion. The HEA were highly delighted with what we've ended up with. But she applied for that space, if you like, a space for research-led CPD resources for teachers of maths and for mathematics and for science. And she made the argument that we'd already built quite a number of resources through the PDMT programme, the Professional Diploma in Maths for Teaching, down through the years, and they could be adapted. So we did. We have hundreds of mathematics resources up on the website at the moment, and we have hundreds of the science resources as well. We have 5 science booklets printed, and they can be even posted out to teachers that are interested. We can get a box of them anywhere. We can give them we bring them along to the Science Teachers Association conferences and things. But people can download, what we did was short, I suppose, what were they called? Like screencasts or something. There were some, resources that were aligned to the curriculum.
And they're classroom ready as well.
And they're classroom ready, but the teacher must adapt them.
Yes,
so we're not saying just take them straight into class. We're saying adapt them, use them. But we put a team of researchers around the table, and no teacher is going to have that time in their school day to get these resources. But what we've done since, and the University of Limerick has supported us, and the research office here in UL has supported us to get your role in place, and we've now got engineering and technology resources about to upload, STEM and STEAM resources about to upload, and we're really going for the broader and deeper STEM and STEAM as well. Yeah. So that's the exciting bit now.
Yeah, because we had our technology and engineering research assistants working over the summer on developing resources, which is wonderful. So we're ready to get those together as well and upload them. And then they're all they're cross-disciplinary as well, because we connect it. We're working on connecting it to the other areas in the curriculum.
Yeah, and what's your vision of the centre then while we're trying to get it up and running?
Yeah, so the vision at the moment is trying to get as many resources from as many people as possible. So initially what we're going to do is start with our colleagues in university. We're going to get research-informed, research-led resources to put on the platform. And our goal or our vision is to get as many teachers to click on them, to download them, and to have access to them. Because we all know teachers are very busy, so any little helps. And they can just take that resource and, like you said, Geraldine, they don't have to take it as is. The main beauty around it is take whatever you want from it and adapt it to your needs in your classroom.
Yeah, and then as we enter maybe into better and deeper conversations, the teachers can tell us what's working for them, what isn't, and we'll be open to listening to them and to adapting ourselves as well. So it'll be kind of a two-way dialogue if we can get it up and running successfully. Now, having said that, we have 1,000 teachers already registered, mathematics and science teachers already registered on the site, but we are much more ambitious for thousands. We're looking
100%.
We're looking for many more. more, and people can go on our website and register and download, and hopefully that system now is more friendly and more user friendly than it was. Any other ideas on it?
Well, for the future, we would like to, or my vision for it now, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but the idea is to turn it into a community or practice. That's the vision for the future, where it's not only a resource hub, but also a collaborative piece where teachers can engage, and academics, not even teachers, academic students, teachers, whatever you want, are engaging that platform and sharing ideas and resources. So that would be the very end of the vision. But
that'd
again,
be the dream ticket, like,
Oh, well, you can come back in 6 months and we can talk about that.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that's what we're hoping now, and we'll try and work with people to do that, because like, you've got to make some steps before you get there. And the first step is that, I suppose, our colleagues and the faculty, people give us research-led resources, and that would make me think. And I'm trying to think out loud here, but what kind of resources our colleagues could give us? For example, if they wrote a paper and they did a piece of research in the academic journal, they can translate that and make it an article that can be read widely by teachers and give access to their research to the teacher by translating that for the teachers. So that could be one way they could give us a resource. They could also see, and they'd be teaching something in class for student teachers, they could give us an example of something, a nice way of teaching inquiry-based learning in chemistry or something. They could do it, upload us something that would be useful to the teacher. Is those kind of ideas, Michelle?
Exactly. I mean, we had Professor Audrey O'Grady here interviewing us, and and everyone else is interviewing, that they're working on research, and they're practical, where there's classroom teaching resources available out of all of those, or there's ideas that are coming out of them. So yes, they're what we're thinking of. And also, we mustn't forget putting the arts in STEM as well, which is the STEAM and our sustainability project that we have talked about on previous podcasts.
Yes.
And there are resources from that and ideas that come out of that, which we will, and we've a booklet developed that we will, and publish, that we will upload as well for in that area. So it's always about continually adding all the time.
Yes, and expanding, and I suppose seeing this as interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, going that way. The arts give us another way of seeing things. Scientists see in one direction, the arts give another way of seeing. Historical memory, for example, is as important as empirical data. So there's different ways of seeing. So it's all that multiple ways of seeing, and the teachers are generally very good at that, having the multiple ways of seeing, because they are working with young people and trying to figure out how to reach them with the subject and breathe life into the subject. So all those multiple ways of seeing, that's what I love in the STEAM. They do powerful pedagogies that are immersive and inclusive and experiential, that they're more than just a small fixed into reduced area, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, and that even aligns with the senior cycle. The new senior cycle coming in, where options are part of the whole idea around it, where you do one thing multiple different ways. So that will again come in handy with the resources. You can adapt them in any way you want, and implementing STEAM into it too. You can be as creative as you want, and as you can do whatever you want with them.
Yeah, and that creativity piece is very important. It keeps people, teachers, motivated as well. One of the motivating things about teaching is having that freedom to adapt and to be creative and to work with people.
And I think it also with students, because we found that from our project, from talking to the students afterwards, some of them would never have done a science or project, but because of it was a creative one, and it was arts, and it was a sociological study as well, and it incorporated the local community, and they just found it extremely interesting.
Yeah, that Eco Village project we did last year, and the booklet from that now, we'll get that up on the system by the end of this week, and people can download it as an example of a STEAM document. But that has a literature review in there about the history of STEAM, as well as giving the details of all the different eco villages around the world and everything. So it's quite a nice tome for people to get started in terms of that. And then we have those 5 science booklets on ecology, earth and space, biology, the biological world, the chemical world and the physics world. And our postdoc, Vo Vande, has been working on simulations for the physics, writing programs to make the physics experiments come alive, that they can do them as simulations. It's all part of, I suppose, that multiple way of looking at teaching, I suppose, and we want to bring the standard of that up. So we will moderate and we will do that, but we have freedom to provide people with resources. The government are not kind of too impressed at the moment with having one book, but still people need resources. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll add in our school enterprise university partnership that we've developed with local companies, and one in particular, which one of our researchers is she's at the later stages, last quartile, I suppose, the end quartile of putting the resources together. Working with this industry at Sarasep. They're a local company, and their diagnostics and environment testing is their is their business, and it's being able to tie in the curriculum, scientific areas from the curriculum into what they're doing out in the in their industry. And what it's doing is bringing real life, the application into the classroom of this real life application.
Yes.
So these are resources, and we've another company that we're starting to work with as well. So it's developing all these links, which is bringing that into the classroom.
You were working with the Sarasep project for me for some part-time in the summer. They're doing something on water, weren't you?
I have, yeah.
You were, and do you know anything about that project other than the interest that they have in water development?
Well, I know it's about water analysis. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So water analysis, and then what the CPD resource was about is trying to integrate, as Michelle, you're saying, is trying to integrate that work environment aspect of it, that Sarasep environment, into the CPD for teachers to look at and for students to make that link between what they're learning in terms of content in school and then what the local realities look like and how sciences work even. And that's your nature of science coming in there too.
Yeah, it's nature of science, and it's an Irish Indigenous company. Think about 100. How many employees or something in it? I'm not sure exactly.
I don't know, but it's quite substantial. For
a local enterprise, and they have, as I said, this water testing kit that they have, that all the county councils and everything purchase for them. And I even see this morning the Environment Protection Agency having an issue about, mentioned by Audrey last week actually, that 50% of our waterways are not really up to standard, which is kind of unbelievable, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. So anything else about the Academy of STEM Teachers there? Anything else that you'd like to say, Sam, about the Academy?
Well, really is just we're looking for resources. So if you think you have something, go ahead and email me at samuel.brzyskiewicz@ul.ie, and I'll have a look at it and we can have a chat about potentially including it on the platform. We're looking for as many research-led, research-informed resources from our colleagues. But if you believe you have something that's worthwhile, do let me know.
Yeah, and we can connect the website, of course. Is it epistem.ie is our website. So if somebody goes on the website to register for the Academy, they can just find that in the first page, is it?
Yeah, even if you Google just EPI STEM UL, click the first link and it takes you directly on the front page to the Academy.
to the academy, and you get in there, and we can we can send out physical copies of some of the materials for the little number we have left, but we can send them out to you if you need them. And we'll obviously keep in touch, because we'll be needing to adapt. So we will work, as Michelle says, we'll continue working with local enterprises to keep developing very good resources. We'll work with our own faculty, but we'll also need to be connecting obviously to the professional bodies like the Irish Science Teachers Association, the Engineering Teachers Associations, the Maths Teachers Associations, and we have a very good contact made with IDA, and particularly the IDA chemistry team.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we'll be working with them because they'll help to get the news out there and get the word out on the ground, I guess, about the EPI STEM online academy of STEM teachers. And then I suppose the idea is that maybe if that does take off, we can think about running an in-person CPD maybe every 2 years or something down the road. We don't have to do it even on a yearly basis, but maybe have a summer school every 2 years or something. So people that come and join and take down the resources and maybe get involved in the chat and the community, we will actually look after them in terms of an in-person meeting as well. We're up for all of it.
Yes.
Yeah, we are. Okay.
Very good. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Anything else you'd like to add, Michelle, today?
No, I mean it's all aligned with European projects. You're well versed because you're part of the that new panel that's looking at the STEM and STEAM education into the future. So what we're doing is very much aligned with all of this. And it's we'll align it then with our colleagues across across Europe. In Edinburgh, you've worked with Laura Colucci Gray and Colucci Gray, excuse me, who's joining us next week. And in their research, and they have a good sensor project that's done.
They do, and we will be connecting as well to Professor Sybil Ergeran at Oxford in one of the weeks soon. They're all working at new ways of looking at how we can build all of this into the schools. The European project is looking at that green and digital transition, but wanting it to be sustainable, fair and equitable. That's going to be a big ask, because there'll be a lot of issues. And not everyone will have the same access to resources and everything. So we really do want that to be
time as well.
Decent. We need that to be decent,
time is a big factor, isn't it? It is. So that's why these resources are a support for that they can be applied in whatever way into the teaching in the classroom. Yeah,
and maybe one of the things we need to do, and I know you have quite a lot done in this area with your PhD, is that idea of being a reflective practitioner too. If we could invite people to stop and think and step back from what their maybe day-to-day busy worlds are, that's a big issue for us in education, trying to invite that reflective space so that people can actually know what's important as opposed to what's just being busy about in a way. Sam, do you want to add anything to what we've said?
No, I think you said it perfectly. And just a bit on reflection, 100%. It's really, really important. There's initial pushback around reflection, but I can't recommend it enough. There's so much literature on the benefit of reflection, and just even taking 10 minutes to just kind of take a step back and think about how you're getting on, what worked well, what didn't work well, how would you do something better next time, etc., etc. Even 10 minutes or 5.
Yeah. That's it.
Huge difference.
Huge difference, because that critically reflective piece is for your own well-being and for making sure that you're, like what Henry Giroux talked about, the public intellectual, that you actually are operating at that level, a cultural critic as well, so that you're actually operating at that level as a teacher, as opposed to being somebody either in a university or in a school so busy that you can't give any time to any of this. This is important. And maybe just to say to our listeners that it is research-led CPD resources that we're actually interested in, and that's what we're offering. We've got good standards of quality here to vet all of those and make sure they're following that. And we're also aligning them to the national curriculum. So we're not dreaming them up out of outer space. We're aligning them to the junior cycle, to the transition year, to the ideals for senior cycle and all of that. But we want a rich wealth of pedagogies here, and immersive and experiential as well, so that we're actually trying to not only breathe life into the subject but take care of the student and bring to the forefront what you said, the idea of equality and the idea of sustainability and the idea, I suppose, of having seeing the child and the young person in the whole thing. It's like that whole mix, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much, Sam.
Thanks,
It was fantastic, lovely listening to you, and that was really very, very interesting.
Thanks for having.
Thank you.
So we're going to play out today, so with a lovely piece of music. We have Ailey Pope is going to play for us, and she's an instrumentalist and a composer, and she's in the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance here at the University of Limerick. Now, Ailey's from Lenihan, Tipperary, and as I said, she's even a composer herself. But today for the tune, she has decided to pick on The Boyne Water, and it's an arrangement played by Martin Hayes with his group called the Common Ground Ensemble. But today, let's hear Ailey play it. So, Ailey Pope, over to you, and thank you very much.